Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? So, give up the fight. What do I mean by that? Well, it struck me whenever my mum passed away and my brother said, "Oh, she gave up the fight." Why are we waiting to our deathbeds before we give up the fight? What I realized and I saw in me, and so my brother passed away not long after, he fought to the very end, let me tell you. He did not give up the fight. He fought until there was nothing left of him at all. We don't need to fight. That's what I realized that I was doing, that I was fighting myself. I could see those paradigms. I could see that programming that was inside me. People on the outside wouldn't have seen it, but my internal fight with myself was just, who needs a narcissist on the outside whenever you are your own on the inside? Why do we do that to ourselves? Let me ask you this. Has any of those negative comments helped? Has any of that attacking yourself? Because that's what it is. When you're constantly having those conversations, it's all attack on yourself. Why would you do that? You see, I realized that I was even running from love. That how could you feel so much love whenever I wasn't worthy of it? How silly is that? How absolutely silly is that? So stop the fight now. It's all about making a decision. That's what I realized, is that everything that was going on in my head was an indecision. And whenever a feeling doesn't feel good, don't go that way. Choose the good feeling. And I know that when we get in a spiral of something and we get literally sucked down, then just look at it. Don't fight it. Just look at it. Don't ignore it. Don't chase it away. It's come up for a reason. Just sit and look at the feeling. Separate the thought, separate the circumstance, and just look at the feeling that's arisen. When you can sit in the feeling, it disperses. It literally disperses. And so if you can do that, then you might be able to take the next step up. But what I found, whenever the feeling dispersed and I let it sit there in nothing, that pure joy came up. I didn't have to work my way up through the levels of happiness. And I wasn't trying to pretend to be happy. I was literally feeling the rising of pure joy. You see, what I realized is that we go through life, there's a bit of a journey going on here. And the first bit is that we think that life is happening to us. And then we could find about the law of attraction. And so we think, right, well, life is happening by me. I'm making all of this stuff happen. It's all development of the ego. That's what I realized. The first one was poor me, victim mode. And listen, we do that to our thoughts and our feelings. We let those overtake ourselves. We don't need anybody on the outside. We're quite capable of being in victim mode all by our little selves. And so the next one, it's all happening by me. Well, that's ego. Ego just takes over. That's where the personal development industry is doing so well, because we just want to develop your ego and make you think that you need to do better so you can be better. When you were made perfect, are you telling me that you have God's highest form of creation and you're not good enough? Or there's something wrong with you? We need to fix you. Anyway, what I realized was there was another step, that life is happening through you. It's coming from the source of whatever this is that's holding everything together. It's coming through you, and you're the observer of it. And then there's a place and a time whenever it's life is happening as you. Now, those times are just like amazing times whenever you're just lost in the moment. Like when I'm playing polo, I am not thinking about anything else. I am thinking about hitting that ball, and I am having so much fun. Every time I'm around the horses, I have so much fun, and I am in pure flow then. I'm not thinking about a thing. But then I could also find myself the victim to my own thoughts and my own feelings. And that's where the fight starts. So why don't we just stop the fighting and just choose to be the observer and not judge? Like, imagine not having an opinion about anything. God, we've got such a great opinion about everything outside there. I realized I was even frightened of people. Like even though I was the most confident person out there, there was always something inside me going, oh, what are they going to be like? It's almost like somebody was going to tell me off. Now, we could all go back in history and find things, but sure, who cares? This is me now here in this moment. And so I choose a different feeling. I choose to accept or reject certain thoughts that come in. I mean, there's a whole other story about who's choosing and rejecting and whatever, and who's deciding in the first place. But let's just get some element of control in our mind back, an element of order. Order is heaven's first law. And if we can start to bring order to the mind, not by teaching you what to think, but by teaching you how to think, you can bring that order in, and then you can start to understand who you truly are. And when you understand who you truly are, then you can know where you're going. The trouble is, people are trying to apply the law of attraction, and they think they know where they're going, but they don't know who they are. They don't know what they really want. And they just want what everybody else is having, and they think that's what they want as well. So it's about how to think, not what to think. So let's stop fighting ourselves. If you're ready to stop the fight, then give me a call. I mean, we're not here just for a chat, because a chat's not going to help you. You've got to do the work yourself. I hate to tell you, I'm doing nothing for you. Absolutely nothing can I do for you. I can point you in the right direction. I can point you how to think. Stuff that helped me, I can talk you through my experience. And plus, obviously, thinking into results, which is how the most successful people think. I don't know. Maybe they knew something. I don't know. Only you can experience it. But I want to help you stop that fight. And when you see, the trouble is, we think our professional problems are our professional problems, when really what they are, they're just like a covering over of what's going on inside us. I hate to tell you, I'm not the messenger. Don't be shooting me. If your team is crap, then, and whatever you're complaining about your team, there's something going on inside you. I mean, if you could really be honest with yourself, really, really, really be honest with yourself, I'm telling the truth. There was only ever one time one CEO refused to think that his team was anything to do with the way he was managing them. Refused point blank. It was all their fault. I put my pen down and I says, well, I can't work with you. I can't work with you unless you're willing to take 100% responsibility. And you know what he wasn't? He took about 50%. And the next day was just, I'm never going back. Never going back. So listen, stop the fight today. Do yourself a favor and everybody else. You're amazing. You're wonderful. There's no need to fight your way through this life. And when I say love, you don't need to fall back and do nothing. You can still do all the same activity, just without that anxiety, that worry, that doubt, that fear that's driving you. I remember sitting in my car, and it was a bit of a traffic jam, and I wanted to get somewhere. But then I heard this voice in my head, and it says, where are you going, Sheena? You're already here. I was like, wow. Where are you going? You're already here. Is it your time for that peace? And to find out what you really want? You may see it. You may have been trying for so long. It's not there. It's time. You didn't see this message for no reason. Make a decision. I'll see you on the other side. Book a call. Links in the description.